Hang on. Hi.
Hello.
Hold on. Hi. Where's Miss Maria?
She's right here.
There she is. Hi. Oh, how are you? I'm so sorry about that. I had to go and like switch my mic out. The stupid little cord was eaten down, so it was going out. So with that being said, thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. With that being said, and my assistant is still on vacation. She doesn't get back until Monday, and so I didn't have time to shoot an email. So I want to kind of tell y'all before we get started a little bit about how this works. Okay. Number one, also the other thing I want to let you know, in about 6 minutes, I'm probably going to get up. My husband is going to put tea at my door because my voice is getting really froggy. So I'm going to get up and grab that too. Okay. The other thing though, is as we are doing this, number one, what we're doing is we're asking people's souls to come in, right? To hang out with us. We have to do this with love. We have to do this kindness. We also have to realize that I just got a really cool feeling off of her in the background, Miss Maria. Interesting. We also have to realize that not everybody, it was like have you ever gotten goosebumps? I mean, obviously we probably have, but it's like, as soon as I went and I looked at you, it was like this, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't know what it is. You have to remember that we're asking people's souls to come in. And so not every single one of them has been channeled before. Okay. And especially not with me. And so just like you are a soul in a body, they come in and we say, hey, I want you to come in because I love you. I want you to hop in her body, play with her brain, and make sure that you tell her exactly what you want to talk about, even though you probably never have used her before, right? So in the very beginning, what it is it's me trying to figure out how they want to talk, and it's them trying to figure out how to poke my brain properly. And what happens is whenever y'all say, yes, Amie, that makes sense, or no, it doesn't, it means that I go, okay, I got it. You're good, or I really need to go back and reinterpret this a little bit better. Okay. And so with that being said, when they talk, they really talk in 4 different ways. And yes, if we want more people to come in, absolutely. I saw on your thing and you said, is there okay to have more than one? I was like, yeah, it's like, yeah, we have time for it, of course. Oh, wow. Wow. There is, hold on. I'm going to tell you about this. I am getting the most interesting feelings right now, which means like heaven or higher vibration, which is cool. I was in the lower area earlier, so it was very interesting. Remember too with this, that there are different levels. There's like high, people call it heaven. There's what I can figure out is there's like a middle area, kind of like purgatory. A lot of people that die of like drug overdoses or suicides, they kind of hang out here and they're dealing with their own stuff. Then there's low. I know that y'all don't have anybody in low. Low is not a great place. But whenever you're channeling, if I'm talking to somebody in middle, you don't really talk to anybody in high because it's like tuning into a radio station. Not all music is on one station. You know, it's kind of different. When they do talk, they talk in signs and symbols, meaning maybe they show me a palm tree, which means Florida, right? And then they'll put these in a line, and it's a really fun game, a pictogram. And I tell you the sentence. The next thing is that they will try to put me in either situations that may have happened to you or happen to them or will happen to you. Those are very fun. Other side note on that is if somebody was like born and raised in Canada, I'm from South Texas. I don't believe in snow. I've never been there. And so I'm just letting you know, this is, you know, I have this on because it's 70 degrees in my house with my air conditioning and it's blowing on me, you know, it's 98 degrees outside right now. But I don't have a whole lot of stuff for them to pull from. So I'll be like, there's plaid and moose, there's Canada in here, right? Like that's what I get. Okay, but we'll go further. So if somebody says, like this one woman was like, do you know the name of the street I grew up in Newfoundland? And I'm like, Newfoundland, that's a new place. Like I have no idea. Okay. The other 2 ways are that they will talk only with feelings and emotions. So feelings and emotions are not just I'm happy or I'm sad. Sometimes you'll sit there or you'll watch me and I'm like, and it's because it means I took too much meth and I jumped off a bridge. Like there's stuff like that. And the last one is words and phrases. Those are my favorite. Those are the easiest. Those are the most straightforward. And of course, they don't like to use those that often. So we are going to kind of like work through the whole thing. And oh, who are you? I wonder if that is, tell me. Okay, I can hear my husband bring me tea. Hang on. What? Where are you? They're coming up and they're like sitting on I have no idea if this is a bed. I have no idea. I'm just going to say it's a soft surface of some sort because they're talking about leaning on it. Okay. Is it a bed? Is that a bed? Are y'all sitting on a bed? No. Interesting. They're just talking about leaning on like a soft surface or like a ledge. And I'm like, what is this? They're talking about how, what? Tell me about her. They're really, really around Maria a whole lot. Like that's the person that she wants to be around. I believe this is a female spirit, 110%. What? Tell me about you. Talking about getting her or like having her hair ready or getting her like stuff like that and how she like is here for this event. She's like excited for this event. She says, tell me about her. Tell me. Hold on. Interesting. So Liga is like a mother figure to Maria?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. She just goes up to, she's a spirit. She's not showing me her body. She's just talking about things and she's making me feel. And she's light. She's funny. She goes up to her and she sits down or places herself and she's like, oh, hi. And it's very light and nice. And then she goes up to you, my friend in the front, and she's like around your face, which just means like, I love you. You're just so great. You know how they like touch you like that and stuff. She just adores you. She just shows me, oh, she's talking about rings. I don't know anything about that yet, so we'll get in there later. She says that, what? Because she touches this. She says, she shows me her little hands. What happened to you? She had a good life. She feels like she had a good life, like the last part. Yeah. I go, are you sad? Are you mad? What's going on? She's like, no, I had a great life and I'm fine. Like, that's kind of how it feels in my head. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like they do talk like that. I don't think she spoke like that in life, but that's how her soul kind of feels. What are you? Tell me. Oh, she's took me back to another time in my head. When she's trying to talk about when she passed, has she been gone more than a decade? Like more than 10 years? Liga? Yeah. Okay. Don't tell me anything else. She takes my brain and she shows me an image, but it's like boom, boom. And it's like more than a decade. Like the colors change, the sepia changed, the times changed, like everything like that. I would even say, I know that it was how, when? Oh, I may get this wrong. Was it like the early 90s or like late 90s? Do we know? No. Okay. Odd. She puts me back in when I was like 5. That was 1995, 1996, like that area, because I had cancer. And she's talking about that time frame and she keeps showing me like back then. She was still alive at that point though, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because she's making a big deal. She's showing me all, you know, how we used to wear like those ugly boxy sweaters and like the jeans that didn't have elastic in it yet. Yeah. That's a whole thing. She says that, what? Tell me. Maybe she was feeling really good back then at that time. Let me just say, maybe that was the thing. What about her? What happened with you? So random. She just made me eat ice cream. I have no idea why, but it had like, she doesn't like ice cream with nuts in it, correct? I'm sorry, that's so random.
I don't think so. That's so
yeah,
yeah.
I know. Don't, it's like, and I don't think you're from the South because so my husband just got Southern pecan caramel ice cream and it's still in the freezer. Like we haven't opened it. We went to the grocery store today and she just tasted it and she goes, ooh, I don't like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then why are you here? Why are you doing it? So that was like a random fact they bring up. She says, tell me, what about her? Oh, I see you coming up. So like people are coming up and blessing her. Was she religious?
Kind of. when she was
Yeah,
young.
not crazy. Yeah, not crazy. Yeah, she goes like this. She's talking about people coming up. So whenever she's passing, people are able to come up and say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
People are able to come up and be with her. Yeah. She keeps coming up and having, I'm not saying this particular thing happened, but she shows me an image of laying down, or like if there was an ability for people to say, I love you, or bless you, or send her off. And she's talking about somebody coming up and like kissing her on her forehead and like doing this. So this means that we didn't pass too suddenly. It wasn't like we dropped dead of a heart attack. Let me shut my door really quick right here and grab this.
Oh boy, mama.
I know. I like her. Tell me. What? Come here, mommy. What? Where? You know, it's interesting because this woman feels like she should have a style from somebody else, somewhere else. What? Hang on. Like, okay, this is going to be really random, but she shows me, this is so wild. We don't ever have to do drugs. We just channel. She just puts, she puts like a white suit on with like big shoulder pads, and she's like popping around, and she's so hot. Like, this woman is very like, she's stylish. But it's almost like I want like 1980s Coco Chanel, like, or something like that. Or is that a thing? Oh, shut up. Stop it. Okay. And it's almost, and the reason why I say it's like, I want her to be from like Milan, Italy. And I'm not saying that, but it almost feels like it's from a fashion from a different place. Like, that's why I'm saying, but it's posh. What? She has like a little, white bag with like a gold clasp. And she's tiny. She's not a big woman either. She's what, maybe 4'9", 5 feet tall. How big is she? Is she like that small?
5'3", 5'3".
Oh, real? Oh, I made her a little bit shorter. Okay, I'm 6 feet tall, and when she's walking around in my head, she's like tiny. Very, very petite. But yeah, very tiny. She says, what? As soon as you get past 5'5", you don't count anymore. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm like, me doesn't count either. It's fine. My mom is 5'2". What? Tell me, what happened? I'm asking her to show me at the end of her life, and she says, you don't need to see me like that. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, all she wants y'all to remember is that you were there, you kissed her, she didn't want to look old, and my God, we sent her off and she's fine. And she is, what? I was not expecting this. She's flamboyant in a great way. What?
Yeah.
So where are you at? And she's like, that's that ooh that I was getting. That was her. So just be with me. Who is that? Who is that? She goes, oh, she's talking to some man. She like is like, tells them to like leave. Wait, your dad is crossed over? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Interesting. Did they have like a love-hate relationship?
Yeah.
Can I show you what she just did in my head?
Yeah.
Can I show you? I'm going to stand up. Okay. So this is what happened. I hope you enjoy the overzealous cardigan thing. So she's like this. She's in my head, she's standing here. She has her little bag, right? And I go, what are you doing? And this guy like walks up in my head, and she goes, like that, like almost like blowing them off. And I go, what are you doing? But then you feel the feeling of like, almost like a Ricky Ricardo and Lucy, Desi Ball, like that thing, like back and forth. And she's like, oh my God, but I love him. I love him. He's so great. Like that. And that's why I'm like, oh, there's a love-hate relationship going on here. There is what? Were her nails not painted at the time of her passing?
No.
No.
Was she mad about that?
That's She goes like this. They do talk about if they are done. They do talk about like how they look. And I said, so tell me about it because I used to have nails and not anymore. And he goes, she's talking about laying there. And she shows me like what I would want to have is like fuchsia or red or like something, like in that area, or orange, like, but more in the red area. And she goes like this and she shows me, she goes pop, and like they all turn into colors. And I go, oh, so did it look good? And then she shows nobody coming up and doing them for her. And I was like, oh, so we didn't have them. Okay, I understand. And she's talking about not being sent out in style. I said, I understand. What? So what happened? Walk me through. You're so good at this right now. Come here. What? Did she speak another language?
No.
Odd. And I wasn't going to say it's weird. It's almost like I want, and y'all don't go to Greece a whole lot or anything like that. Is there something to do with like Greek or like Mediterranean or like Rome, like in that area? Do you have any idea? Or did they go there a lot? Okay. This is all they keep showing me. They show me olives. They show me lemons. They're showing me like fish sauce stuff. Anyways, the stuff you use in cooking. They like to pull a lot of stuff out because obviously I cook like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Or maybe she's talking about how she's on vacation in one of these places and she's enjoying this life. Unless, I'm going to ask you a very weird question and just roll with me. Are you anywhere near like Florida or Southern California?
She is, yeah. Yeah, from Southern California. Yeah.
Really? Okay. San Diego area has a lot of, that's Southern California to me, like all that, like LA to San Diego. It has that Mediterranean, everybody does lemon and blue and, all of that type of stuff. And so maybe she's trying to show that, but she did not live by the water, correct?
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm guessing what she may be saying a little bit is that she now lives by the water, like she's enjoying this area and this vacation because now, and she goes like this, she's talking about affording it. I said, oh, okay. She says that, what? She really likes her money. What? Yeah, very much so. What? I want her to have a palace, but I think she had a modest house. Am I correct on that? Yeah. She goes like this. They said, show me your home. And she goes, and it's like this, 2-story, all white, the whole California stucco type of thing going on thing, right? With like the little gate in front. And then she goes, meow. And it's like this very like modest house. And I was like, oh, okay. So in her heaven, she's just fabulous. That's where mommy is. Wait,
I love it.
What? Oh yeah. She's wonderful. So what? I want to bring in him.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, he's coming in right now. Ay. What? My sweet. Wait. Ooh. Did he pass after her?
Yeah.
Really? Oh my God. It's always the guy that goes first. Interesting. He says, I came after you, my sweet. Like that's what you heard me say that for. And I was like, what? So he's talking about riding into spirit on his white horse, grabbing her. There's some crazy stuff going on in my head right now. He says that. Tell me what? Oh, Mom, were you taking care of him or helping take care of him?
I'm not sure who you're talking about right now. For who?
Interesting. Father figure, male.
Right. It could be. If it was my dad, no, because he was too far away.
Okay. Hang on. Let's get into that. Let's get some more information on him. Hang on. Let's see. Wait. Where? Hold on. I want to see where too far away. I want to see if he can show me this. Hang on. Now, if it's a place I haven't been, which I've been to a lot, it could be difficult. Tell me, Dad. Come here. Hold on. Wait, so that your dad, he was out of the state of California? Or were you? Yeah. Okay. He goes like, I was like, it's either he's out or you're out of it. A lot of people say, oh, he's too far away and they live an hour away. And so like when you're from Texas or California, yes. But when you're from Texas or California, you're like, oh, it's a day drive, 4 hours, whatever, you know? And so I ask him, I go, where were you at? And he shows me, so it's out of here. I go, okay. So now he's learning how to talk through me. What else? Oh, did he pass like as soon as like 2 or 3 years ago?
Okay, well, wait.
There's one guy that keeps talking about dying during COVID or somebody dying during COVID.
Okay. So
like they keep hitting. Yeah.
That's my dad.
That's the second.
That's
picture.
your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him. Oh, yeah. Somebody keeps saying during COVID, like, and they keep flashing it in my head. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. That's your dad.
That's my dad.
Yeah. Now I have a question because I'll pull that up in just a second though. Is that Saint Bernard gone as well?
Yeah. He's doing fine. I found him a really good home.
A really good home.
He's on a farm and he's loving life.
That's the farm. That's the farm. Oh my God. Okay. There was somebody talking about living on the farm. They said, he's gone. He's gone. The gentleman said, and the dog is not with them, or the dog is not with me either. He's living. And they keep showing me, that's the farm. I'm thinking somebody's a freaking farmer, and it's not. It's because your dog's on a farm. He says that. How interesting. Wow. I was like, because he'd love that dog.
Yeah.
Like that was, yeah. Why? I said, why didn't they keep it? Somebody says, well, it's like another mouse. See, this person is talking words right now. He says, it's because your mom is high. She's heavenly. So she talks, she's just sassy and wonderful. We're going to get back to her in just a second. She loves y'all. Like, this death doesn't mean anything to her. It's just now she can sit here and listen to your conversations all the time. He has a little bit more. That's just what she does. Okay. She's talking about like sitting at, if like, oh, y'all, you must cook together. You must cook. You must like do that. Somebody's peeling potatoes in my head for some reason. I don't think you actively go and peel potatoes, but like, that's a thing that means to me, like we cook or we do it together and we talk all the time. And so like your mom is sitting there like, I'm here with you. It's a whole thing. What? Tell me. Come here. What about him? Interesting. So dad was having really hard times breathing and stuff like that. He was actually having difficulties with this stuff. He's talking about how, what happened, bud? What? Hold on. You weren't with your father when he crossed over? No. Okay. I go like this. I said, so what happens? He put himself being alone. I'm not saying he did die alone, but he puts himself as being alone, which means there was an absence of you. And he says, like, I just want to let you know that I love you. Like, don't have any regrets on that. Don't be upset about that. Okay. He adores you. This man is very nice, by the way. I just want to let you know, he feels like a very good guy. He, tell me what? Oh, he said he was scared. I said, were you scared? He goes, oh yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So usually they don't answer that straight. Usually like, no, it was wonderful. He's what? I can hear his words. Wait, was he, where? This is going to be a very random question, but does anybody have anything to do with like, see, I have never been to that area of the United States. Up north, I guess north of Texas, more like in like Minnesota or Ohio or Michigan, or what is that like Midwest? Who's that?
I live in Wisconsin, and he came out and moved out here with me. And then he died up here. He died in Minnesota. We transferred. We transferred him to a hospital in Minnesota, and then he died the next day.
Shut up. Oh my God. Because he keeps talking about wanting to go home. Do you want to know how he showed me that? This is what he said. I go, that's so odd. I go, what happened? I can hear his voice in my ear. He says, I just want to go home. All right. Like, oh, garage, eh? And I was like, oh my God, who lives in Minnesota? Like, what is that? That's where that came from. And so I was like, I know that like Michigan and Ohio can have a little bit of that Uber type of thing. So he's, wow, Minnesota. What? He just says that he didn't sound like that. You betcha. Yeah. So he didn't.
No, he didn't. He did not sound like that, but he got a kick out of everyone's accent out here.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah. He goes, I said, so I'll just continue using this voice for you. He said, I didn't sound like that. I was like, oh, okay. Well, then I'll let that go. Yeah. What? So tell me about her. What? He didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. He really talks about wanting to die at home. And obviously we couldn't die at home. He says, I'm sorry. He says, fucking life flight. They could have moved faster. He wasn't on a life flight. They drove him, correct? They transferred when they transferred. Yeah. Yeah. He's talking about maybe with this drive or something, that is what would have, like, it being shorter or something would have like done better. I don't know why there's like something that goes along with that. What happened with you? Why? Something about not taking on my case, something about how, what happened? Can you show me in your body? Show me in my body. He's showing me like, I see this. He's like wrapping his arm up. So he must have had all of his IVs in or something like that. He says, tell me. Did they not have like a good enough cardiac or lung specialty unit there or something? Do you have any idea?
He was at a smaller hospital for 3 weeks. But they did, I mean, the doctors did it as much as they could for him. He got really bad really fast. And then he got better, and then he got really bad again.
Yeah.
And then they transferred him to the bigger hospital, and then he died.
So they needed that cardiac procedure that the little hospital.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah, what is the cardiac thing about? What is that
sepsis.
Yeah, he needed a transesophageal cardiogram that they only do at the big hospital.
Well, but they needed his lungs to get better first before they could even
because
he was maxed out on the high flow oxygen. They needed his lungs to get a little bit better before they could even do the cardiac procedure. Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. He goes, I said, so tell me, or I go, was it cancer? Like, what was going on? And he talks about how he shows me his heart. And I was like, but it's just a heart. He's talking about having this procedure or having something done, and they couldn't do that there. And then he showed me his lungs, and he keeps making him go. And I'm like, lungs and cardiac procedure? Like, I thought most hospitals.
He died of COVID. He had COVID, and then he got sepsis.
He literally is yelling COVID at me.
Yeah. Can you ask him a question for me?
Yes. Anything.
Or just tell him I'm sorry.
He knows. Hold on, let's get more into this. I want to know why you say I'm sorry. Don't tell me yet. Let me see what he knows, because they know your heart. I just work here. What? Tell me, Dad. He says you can be pushy, but you got it from him. He says that in a good way. He says, I know she can be pushy, but she got it from me. What do you think? I was like, oh my God. He says that what? He loved you. What? Why would you feel like you were solely responsible for his passing? What is that about? Yeah. Hold on, say it one more time. Tell me, he texted you and what? It's okay.
He got the COVID from me. I got it first, and then he got it from me, and then he died. It's like,
Oh,
Not true.
oh my God. No, it's not. It's not. I know you got it. Oh my God. He says like this. I said, why is she apologizing? I said, did y'all get into a big fight or something beforehand? And he says, no, she carries this monkey on her back that my passing is her sole responsibility. Okay. Okay. And he wants you to know he doesn't think that. And he loves you, and you carry that with you, and you carry that pressure with you all the time. But he knows. Okay. It was his little body that gave out. And we know. Okay. And I know you can feel that way, but he's not mad at you. He's not upset at you at all. He's trying to make people laugh. And I'm like, this is not the time. He says that, he's so quirky and funny though. He says about her, tell me, you already beat yourself up all the time. You already apologize to him all the time. You say you're sorry. You go through and you do it over and over again. He hears you. He hears you. Okay. But now what ends up happening is that you end up putting yourself in a lower vibrational state. You end up not being able to live your life to the fullest. And he's trying to help you live a good life now. Because guess why? Because he's going to live vicariously through you. Okay. Because he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I want to tell you a little story real quick, and this is heavy. And I just want to let you know that there have been a couple people that I've read before. And when I mean a couple, I mean two that have had something similar. There's this one woman, I read her and her sister, and they wanted 2 gentlemen and 2 kids to come in. And I read them. The 2 gentlemen were brothers, and they showed up together. They were fine and great. And the 2 kids, well, they weren't kids. One was 19 and one was 20. And they come up. The mother-in-law came over. His mom, one of the guy's mom, had COVID. She didn't tell anybody. And she came over to a party, and she gave it to all 4 of them, her 2 grandchildren and her 2 sons, and they all died. And so I was talking to both the wives, and it was insane. But do you know what happened? The mom couldn't handle it. She didn't feel remorse. She wasn't sad. She knew she had it. And she ran away and she committed suicide. Don't do it. I know you're not going to, but she couldn't handle it. So I want to let you know that this is a thing ever so often, but they are fine. They are never mad at you. They felt bad for her. And he is a loving, loving guy that is like your best friend. Okay. And he could talk to you at any given time. He's the person that would give you the most advice. He's the person that you would call and just to talk, like all that. That's what he's just talking about. He's just saying like, hey, babe, or hey, like just talk to you on the phone. It's almost like you were trying to like rebuild his life for him at the same time too. And I don't know why there was a rebuilding. Was he not like dating anybody?
He was separated from his wife.
Oh, okay.
He
I
moved
said,
out
I
here
go,
and
what?
she didn't want to move out here.
That makes sense. Okay. I go, so what was going on? Now I'm going to ask him about that. So I need you to breathe, and this is going to take time to let it go. And it's hard, but I'm going to also teach you how your daddy and you connect on a different level now, just like I do with mine. Okay. So we'll do that beforehand, before we go. So, and your mom is just freaking funny. No wonder she had to come in. Okay. She's the one that had to like lead the bandstand parade to get in here. So one of the things with your dad is I go, so tell me about what was going on. Why did you move out here? Where was your wife? He said, oh no. He said, I didn't have one. He says, I was single. He said, oh, the next good thing, the next big thing would be to me to like find somebody, you know? And I was like, oh, really? And he's talking about like the daughter helping him do that. He says, he's talking about how you would have to go through like a 21-point inspection on these women, though, if he did that, just to make sure that they were good enough for your dad. He says that, what? Tell me. Oh, wait. So Maria, so you and him, I mean, obviously that's how you came to be. I mean, it's not immaculate conception. Okay. But what, I'm going to say, I mean, you never know. That's what I claim mine as. But let me see. He says, tell me. he does say that you just weren't meant to be together. Like you just were both in two very separate areas. Y'all are both very opposite people, but you made a great kid. Let me tell you about that. You did. Like he could be, it's interesting because he's soft and he's kind, but yet he's very stubborn. He can be very stubborn. I'm very bullheaded all the way through. And he's saying that what he has the mouth, and you just like honestly didn't want to put up with it either. And so I see why. Yeah. He says, oh, I could talk shit. I was like, really? You want to say so? He says that what? Oh, interesting. So he broke your heart in a way, Maria?
Yeah, I did.
This is what he says. He says, oh, in this short time, obviously he hasn't been gone for very long. In this short time, he says, I had a lot to think about. I go, what? He's like, well, everything. Your dad is just talking in my head right now. And I go, what? He says, tell her she's a really good person. I said, well, why are you saying that? And he's like, well, I could talk about, I'm sorry. And I go, why? He's like, because I'm the one that broke her heart. And I go, really, you heartbreaker? Tell me about it. And he says, oh, no. He's like, don't let me get too far into this. Like, so he's like talking about, because he's very proud. He says, what? He just said that y'all are going to do it all over again. So apparently, like next life, y'all are going to be married. There's going to have to be something that happens again, and you're going to do it. Okay. I know. It's because you got to figure it out. The karma thing. He says, what? Did he cheat on you, Maria? Really? You're a fuckhead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. I love him though. I go, what did you do to her? Tell me. And he says, well, I let get the best of me. I was like, really? Interesting. He says, what? He says he talks the talk. He's talking about learning. This is odd. Your dad is like learning how to be with God or source or like align with that. He says that I would talk the talk like, oh, I'm godly in this, or I don't think necessarily he's going to church all the time. He says, but I wouldn't always walk the walk. And I said, okay. And he says, now I'm learning how to do it. I go, okay. He says, what? Interesting. So would you have a beer with your dad?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He goes like this. He got a bottle. He goes, like pops it up and I can hear it on the ground. And I said, what do you want the most? He says, one more with her. That's it. And he like tinks. He loves you. I go, good. That's good that y'all have that type of relationship. And he says, he doesn't believe in this stuff. He thinks this is really cool that we can do it. He thinks that
that's we're doing it. Oh,
yes,
you're so infuriating, Dad.
That's him.
No, this is what he said. He goes like this. I said, so what do you think about this? He says, I didn't believe in this shit at all. I was like, really? He says, and now I'm doing it. I was like, oh, yeah. That's what spirits say sometimes. So
he also didn't believe in COVID.
So.
Yeah.
He goes like this. He goes, like you saw how that worked out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What? You don't know what they're poking you with. And, maybe I'm a conspiracy theory. You're not a conspiracy theorist. What are you talking about?
He was a conspiracy theorist.
Shut.
He was.
Was he? He says, he goes, what do you think? Yes. What do you think they're going to poke me with? He says, something conspiracy theorist.
He would not get the vaccine. He refused to get the vaccine. And he was just like, no, it's all just a ploy from the Democrats and it's not real. And you don't know what they're putting in you and just all this shit.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. There was so much conversation in that right now. He goes like this. I said, so what do you think? He says, well, now I can look at them all from up here. He says, oh, it's like a bunch of children. He says, and one gets over here, I'm going to he's just talking about it. Tell me about her. He says, let me get my glasses. He says, he has his phone. Let me show you. Let me get my glasses. I'm like, really? And I'm like, oh, and he's like fat fingering it. And I'm like, yeah, because he like tries to do voice text, but he can't because like something messes up. So I go, did you my father-in-law does voice text all the time. And I was like, do you do that? He was like, no. Bleh. I'm like, oh, okay. He says, tell me about her. What are you doing? Oh, I don't know where that is though, Dad. He's talking about y'all riding together did he have like a 10-year-old vehicle?
It was way more than 10 years old.
Way 10. Really? Okay. How cool. Okay, just how he showed it to me. He goes like this, he's having you like sit in this car with him or like this truck with him or whatever. Oh my God. Was it an SUV?
It was a van.
Van. Yes. Okay. He's talking about when you sit down, the ceiling is higher and how you can pack a lot of people in it. I'm like, maybe it's a small SUV, it's a van. And he's talking about how he showed me like if like the fabric is coming down from the roof, that means for me like 10 years old or older. And he's talking about how he wishes there were like more videos of y'all like, you know, driving together or being with one another because he didn't like to take videos. He didn't like to take photos. He's not a person of that type of thing. So he wishes that there was more. What do you mean? He just made a comment. Oh my God, that's so odd. He says, are we not going to talk about what they saved of mine? And I go, what did they save of yours? And he says, my belly button lint. And I was like, shut up. Like, that's like, he's just trying to be funny. He's talking about like the little thing. Did we end up cremating him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
California.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And then I saved his ashes because he was always talking about traveling, but he never actually traveled. And so I have some of his ashes that I'm taking around when I do my traveling.
When you do traveling. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Me.
Yes. He goes like this. I said, he's talking about, and I bet. Hold on. He says, Domino Patri Espiritu Santos. Like if we're like throwing him out in like different locations.
Yes.
Oh, are you going to actually do that? Oh,
I've already been doing it.
Shut up. Are you serious? So you're not just taking him with you, you're spreading him in different areas.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay. Yeah. All I heard is like Domino Patria Spiritus Sanctos, like, and like everywhere. And I'm like, wait, so we're having services everywhere. That's why. What? It works. That's what he says. He says kind of morbid, Oh, I don't know, but it works. I was like, all right, that's fine. He says, what? Oh, don't. When are you coming to Texas?
I'm not planning on coming to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause this. He goes like this. He's talking about spreading him in like Oregon and Washington and stuff like that. And he makes a joke. I think he's going on like the political thing a little bit. Because then he says, because I'm in Texas, and he says she should come over here. She should like put me over here with you. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. And I'm just because he wasn't ready to go yet. He wasn't ready to die yet. And so he talks more about physical things and like your mom, which is in heaven all the way through. And she's just fabulous. So tell me about her. What? You do not have, maybe you do. Maybe you do. Hang on. Do you have 2 kids?
I do.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if he had anything to say for his other kid.
Really? Okay. Okay. Yeah. They're talking about, And then who has, and so there's 2 kids for you, and do you have 2 little kids?
I have 4.
You have 4. Oh, so that's the double. That means 4. Okay. He goes like this. He goes, and I'm like, maybe that means 2 and 2. No, it's because you have 4. Wow, you look great. He says that, tell me, yeah, he's talking about how he watches your little kids. That's the whole thing. Do you have one that's like as old as like 11 or 12 yet?
Yeah.
Or 11?
Yeah.
Shush, really? Okay. He says like this. I go, what about her kids? He talks about them all being small. I said, great. He says, but one is getting a little bit older. I said, how old? He says, a little bit older than my son. My son's 10. That means 11 or 12. And he says, yeah, he says, now I'm able to watch them. What about the other one? Tell me. So is the other child a boy for
No.
you, Mom?
A girl.
No, it's another
2
girl.
girls.
It's a daughter.
Then you have
Interesting.
Natalie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into this. Let me
If he
ask.
hasn't
Come here.
anything for Natalie.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Come here. Interesting. So what? This is all I see him do. He's like, Nat. I always want to call her Natalie. Nat, for some reason. I have no idea why. And he's like, hey, like just a big hug, like just wants her to come up and do this. And he's like, how are you doing? And he's talking about, don't let your sister hog all the fun, like just kind of like saying stuff like that. I go, okay. He says, what? Hold on. What do you mean? Wait, so is Natalie, who is going to be 30?
Natalie's already 33.
Yeah, she's 33
Is
now.
she 33? Oh, that's why he keeps talking about her, somebody's 30s. He keeps saying like the 30s are going to be hard. That's it. And he obviously, now she's 33. She's losing her dad. He's like talking about all that. He says, wait, how long has he been gone?
He died in 21. So almost 2 years. 2 years. So you're almost.
So she was like, was she 30 at that point?
Oh goodness. She was
30, turning 31.
I don't know.
Close to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Only because he puts 30. And so I bet, so he's probably talking about when he crossed over, she was 30 at that point. And so now it's been obviously a couple of years since he's been gone, or his body's been gone. And he's like talking to her and like almost like writing a speech. He's saying like, I know your 30s are going to be hard without your dad. And he says pretty much like, but I love you and I'm around and I'm here. It's interesting because he almost feels like he has like a softer side for Natalie. Like he treats like you in front as a daughter, or more like his right hand. And he loves Natalie, but it's almost like, I'm not saying this in a bad way, it kind of feels like between me and my sister. So like my sister was like the daughter to my father, and then I was like the tomboy to him, but we would, hang out and do things. So that kind of feels like what Natalie is with my sister, as you are, to that. And he keeps saying that, what? Interesting. It's like, does Natalie have what? One kid?
She was
Was she, okay, was she trying to have them?
yeah.
She's trying.
Struggling. That's why he keeps saying that. He goes like this. He says struggling to have kids. And he says like attempting to, and he goes that. So maybe it means that she ends up having one. Oh my God. Has she had the miscarriages? No. Okay. I want to let you know down the line, there's going to be something that ends up happening. I think she ends up having one baby, one child, but I think there ends up being, and y'all can just keep this in the back of your head and watch, because we don't want to ensue panic anywhere. I think there ends up being one like miscarriage, and it goes into being a boy. Okay. I think but when we have this kid, I think she ends up having a girl. Okay. And so she's actively trying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Have they been trying for like 3 or 4 years?
No, not that long.
Almost a year.
Not that.
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Really? Okay. I would even say that maybe it's going to take another year for something to come up. So tell him like, or even like he just showed me like 9 months to a year. So don't give up. And he's going to be there to like help it come in. Okay. What? Tell me. How far away does she live from you? Does she like she didn't live in the state?
So I live in Wisconsin, and my mom and my sister is there in California.
Oh, that's why. Oh, okay. He's talking about how make sure they go out to visit each other with these new kids. Like she can learn a thing or two from you, like and you having kids. And I go, well, why didn't she do that? He says she lives far away. I go, oh, okay. He says that what? Mom, why haven't you left California and brought everybody and come over with her? Why are you not moving?
Me?
Why not? Yes. Uh-huh.
That was always his plan. He moved out here, and then he was like, he was trying to like conspire with me and be like, we have to figure out a way to get Natalie out here, and then your mom will come if Natalie's out here too.
Yes. That's what he goes like this. I go, so what do you want to talk about? What's like the last bit? And he says, ask her when she's going to move out here. And I go, oh, why? He says, she won't. He says, she doesn't have a crazy amount of family over there. They can both come over. And I was like, oh, I said, well, why should she? He was like, hey, the money's better. So he's like going into that, like giving you all the reasons. And you own your house over there in California?
No.
Oh, there's no point for you to stay. Come on over. Yeah, leave, go. You don't need it. They take half your taxes. Oh, okay. I got you. See, Texas is the only thing that is in my area right now. I haven't ever looked at the tax brackets over there. She says, tell me, but he loves her. He does. Tell her that he loves her. What? Really? Did like were you not able to go in and see your daddy until after he was like all the way dead?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in because he had COVID. He was quarantined.
Really?
Yeah.
I said, is there something you want to bring up? And he goes, and you know what is shitty? I go, what? He says, they wouldn't let them come in and see me at all, and not until I was dead. And I said, you mean like still on? He said, no, like all the way dead. Like I'm out of my body. And I was like, are you kidding me? He says, like, what are they going to do with that? He says, I'm standing right beside her. So he's like beside you whenever this happens. And what? Your dad can have a mouth on him if he wanted to. He is funny. He's like talking about like doctors and nurses, and he's talking about being respectful, but he was like, oh, and you and that. And like, he's like upset and fuck you, like mad that they won't let you come in. And I hope you hear me. What? He thinks this is cool. He thinks we're a good team. We're a good person. What? What's what? Oh, were we able to trim, like get part of his hair? No. Okay.
No.
This is what he said. He says, why did they trim me? They could trim me like, get like a dog at like a parlor, like how they cut his hair off. And I was like, I don't think they do that. I don't think that's a thing for you. Yeah. And that's why I was like, what? He's like, it could have been like a doggy bag. He's just shaking. He's pretty much just talking about how like the hospital could at least done something, in memory of him. He says, tell me about her. He keeps bringing up Arizona, New Mexico, and like stuff like that. I don't know. I don't think you're going to go to like Utah or anything like that. All the Red Rock stuff.
No.
Are you doing anything like that? Okay. There's something, they keep showing me red rocks, and those are the only two places I know is Utah and then like Arizona that have that. I think your grandparents, your mom and dad are out on a caravan, and they are traveling, and they're enjoying their life, and they are seeing the sights, and they are just having a good time. And they love you. Your mom keeps going like that. Yeah. I want you to let all the heaviness go from your dad. He adores you, and they're going to still try to keep plotting to get your mom over here. Okay. Who is what? Do we have like a kid birthday in like the next like week or two?
No.
Weird. They're talking about telling the little guy happy birthday over and over again. And then that's why I said little guy happy birthday. Hold on. And who's the Leo?
Leo?
Who's the Leo? Leo.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm a Leo.
That's August.
Yeah.
Wait, you're a Leo?
I'm a Leo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Sorry, he keeps bringing up, really, you feel very Cancerian to me. That's why I was like, oh. He goes like this. I said, well, do you want to, I said, obviously we missed that boat. I said, who else do you want to say happy birthday to? And he shows a lion in my head. And I was like, Leo. Yeah. So he's going up to say hi to you. Yeah, I think he still loves you. I'm just going to let you know that. I know he got remarried. He just thinks your heart is great. Y'all are definitely a karmatic pair, and you have a great daughter. And so I want to let you know, if you ever have dreams of him, or you see a lot of his name around or something like that, no, it's because y'all are still all tied together. So the last thing I want to show y'all tell you before I go, because I'm going to have to run in my next session, I want you to show you how to talk to your mom and how you can get signs from your dad. So I don't like the whole sign thing where people are like, oh my God, great, there's a bird. Wonderful. I live in the middle of nowhere. There's birds everywhere, right? So what I want you to do is just serious. I want you to get very specific. So tonight before you go to bed, when you're laying in bed and it's quiet, or I know you're a mom of 4, so lock yourself in the bathroom for 10 minutes. Do that too. That's what I do, or used to. So you take, you're like, no, put a towel underneath it. What you do is you take a couple of minutes and you breathe, and you just kind of like let everything go. And then in your mind, in your head, you don't say this out loud. After you quiet down and you kind of feel like that hush, you say, Dad, and you can do this with Mom, Dad, I want you to come here and I want you to be with me for a couple of minutes, please. And you ask it and you do the feeling. So it's like, Dad, I want you to be here. Okay. When you do that, as you're doing that, I want you to kind of like remember some memories, some good memories that you had with him. Remember the voice, remember what he sounded like. Remember, like put yourself back in those memories. Don't do sad ones, do good ones. Okay. And after you do that for about 2 or 3 minutes, what you do is you go, okay, Dad, I want to create a sign or a symbol with you. And when I see it in my world, I know that you're with me. And I want you to, like, not after this first time, I want you to do something completely random. But since we're in the very beginning and the inception of this, I want you to start off with a blue heart. So in your mind, I want you to say, Dad, I want to see, and then picture a blue heart. You say, I want to see this in my world. In the next 48 hours, you're giving them a time, and I know you're with me. And then what you do is you say, thank you. You dwell on it for a couple of minutes, and then you let it go. And then you come out, you text your mom, and you're like, Mom, I asked for a blue heart, or I asked for a purple dragon, or whatever it may be. And then you let it go and watch. In the next 48 hours, that blue heart will show up, and you will be like, what? It's such a weird thing. Because it just popped in my head. Why? What is that about?
Well, whenever we're texting each other about Dad, it's always blue heart, because his favorite color was blue.
Always.
Shut up. Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's your sign.
There's the sign.
Yeah. See, isn't it cool? Yeah. He just showed up. I was like, oh, I was actually going to say, like a blue bird, or I was going to say a green frog. I was going to say, look for that. And then all I saw was And I was like, all right, we'll do a blue heart. Okay. So know that that's him and ask for it again. And he'll send it to you. And then if you want to get really creative, this is what I do with mine, is you go and you change it ever so often, and then it will pop up, but do something random. Okay. But yeah, blue hearts all the way, man. Okay. All right, y'all.
One other thing.
Yeah.
Was he there at Natalie's wedding? Did he get to see her get married?
That's why we're having the baby next. Hold on. Hold on. They had a photo of him up there. Like it was a thing. Do you know? Yeah. He goes like this. He shows me a photo of him like that. And I'm like, okay. So at least apparently it was a dude. That's like a glamour shot. That's like, oh, I'm here. He says like I was represented. Yes. What? He's talking about, this is what he did. I go, were you there? He says, man, he says, let me tell you, I can move a lot better now that I'm up here. He's like, I would have danced. He's like, I have 2 left feet, but I would have tried. And he's talking about like his hips hurting or his legs hurting or his knees hurting before. And he was like, I was there. I was dancing. And I'm like, all right, good. So he's just letting you know he was. Yeah. That is what that was for. Oh my God. So this morning I heard the song, it popped in my head. Everything is spirit when you do this all the time. And it's just a normal thing. All I heard was, it's just you and me and all other people and nothing to prove and nothing to lose. Oh my God. And I can't keep my eyes off you. That's a wedding song. They play that at weddings. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, he was totally there for that. Oh yeah. So no, y'all. Yes, he was, but take a couple minutes now, have a good breather. He's probably going to be with me for a while. When I get more information, I will email with you. Okay. Because he's talking in my head right now. Your mom is going to be, she opened up the floodgates and let him in. Why'd she get rid of my dog though? Why? You know, I really like that. Just give her a hard time. And I was like, stop it. I'm not going to do that. He was like, we were really good friends. I was like, okay, you can be a good friend someplace else with them too. He says that, what? Do you have 2 dogs of your own?
I have 1 dog, but his dog kept eating everything. Like there's no way that I could have brought the dog with me, Dad.
Yes. Yeah. That's what he's just talking about how it not only would eat like another human, so it'd be like another one, but also how but how like destructive it would have been as well. So he knows, he's just messing with you.
I know.
Okay. All right, y'all. I love you. I'll send this to you tomorrow morning. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Anytime.